Hi, I'm Celeste.
And I'm Paloma.
And welcome back to the Cutting Edge. Here comes our Indigenous Peoples Day special.
In our first story, a group of MEHS students reminds us of an important proclamation by the state of Alaska.
Let's listen in.
Indigenous Peoples Day, October 11th, 2021.
Whereas the indigenous peoples of the lands that would later become known as Alaska have occupied these lands since time immemorial.
And Alaska is built upon the homeland and communities of the indigenous peoples of this region, without whom the building of this state would not be possible. And
we value the contributions made to our communities through indigenous peoples' knowledge, labor, technology, science, philosophy, arts, and the deep cultural contribution that has substantially shaped the character of Alaska. And
whereas the state recognizes the fact that Alaska is one big village, with over 16% of the state population having indigenous heritage, the highest percentage among the United States.
Whereas the state opposes racism toward indigenous peoples of Alaska or any Alaskans of any origin,
and promotes policies and practices that reflect the experience of indigenous peoples, ensure greater access and opportunity, and honor our nation's indigenous roots, history, and contributions. And
whereas Indigenous Peoples Day was first proposed in 1977 by a delegation of Native nations.
To the United Nations sponsored International Conference on Discrimination Against Indigenous Population in the Americas. And
whereas in 2011, the Affiliated Tribes of Northwest Indians,
representing 59 tribes from Washington, Oregon, Idaho, North California, Western Montana, and Alaskan tribe.
Passed resolutions number 11-57 to support the change of Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day.
Whereas the state of Alaska joins a growing number of cities that have recognized the second Monday of October 10, 2021 as Indigenous Peoples Day in Alaska,
creating an opportunity to promote appreciation, understanding, friendship, and partnerships among indigenous peoples and all Alaskans.
Now, therefore, I, Bill Walker, Governor of the State of Alaska,
do hereby proclaim October 10, 2016 as Indigenous Peoples Day in Alaska,
and encourage all Alaskans to celebrate the thriving cultures and values of the indigenous peoples of the region,
and to continue the efforts to promote the well-being of Alaska's indigenous community.
Way to go, State of Alaska, and way to go, Indigenous people. Now let's listen to some brave voices
on how Indigenous Peoples Day makes them feel.
Yedi kuk ayuchat duasak kicks adichat city. Kachacha shayuha duasak take way di yedi ayachat. Akahit dachat city. Kagwantan dachchan ayachat. My Tlingit name is Yedi Kuk A, and I'm from the Kix Adi clan, which uses the frog as the crest and comes under the raven moiety. The women of my clan specifically are called the Kachacha Shah, which talks about our relationship to the herring. I'm the child of the Tekwedi, and I'm from the Point House, and I'm the grandchild of the Kagwantan clan. My Tlingit name is Yedi Kuk A, but my English name, which we sometimes referred to as our borrowed names or our names for tax purposes, is Dion Brady Howard, and I'm a teacher here at Mount Edgecombe High School for more than 20 years now. Indigenous Peoples Day is important to me because it is a day in which we can celebrate our indigeneity. That being said, I do have kind of mixed feelings about it in terms of its importance to me, because one of the sayings that I've heard that I really strongly agree with is that every day is a good day to be Indigenous. And so, in my opinion, every day should be Indigenous Peoples Day.
Miss Brady, we love your outfit. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, so I have obviously a lot of different touches of Indigenous bling as it's Indigenous Peoples Day today. Some of it is actually jewelry that I kind of tend to wear on the daily because, as I said, every day is a good day to be Indigenous. And so I like to always sport that pride on a daily basis. So usually you'll see me with some sort of either beaded or engraved earrings, as well as the rings that I usually wear. I have a lot of it, and so I'll just talk a little bit more about the bigger pieces. I have a hat that was my late grandmother's, who I carry her Tlingit name as my Tlingit name. It was made for her by Faye Court, and then the frog was gifted to me a little bit later and added on. And then I have a vest that has some beadwork on it that was given to me when I was a little kid, and then it was transferred to an adult size vest, and the frog crest on the back of it was made by Mary Paleo. And then my boots that I wear, I actually just purchased last school year. It was a goal of mine for a long time to obtain a pair of boots that were fully beaded. And so when I was blessed to receive an award last year that had a little bit of a cash award that came with it, I used that in order to purchase the boots, and they were made by a woman in Canada. And
Doant Chad Roberts Uja Bantisichuhulan and Heather Roberts ta Nick Roberts. Hello, my name is Chad Roberts. I'm from Minto, Alaska, and my mother's name is Heather Roberts, and my dad's name is Nick Roberts.
What does Indigenous Peoples Day mean to you?
Indigenous Peoples Day is a day of recognition and to spread more awareness and to recognize how important our cultures are and how we thrive and what we do to celebrate who we are.
Hi, my name is Kalgor Naluk, and my big name is Naomi Kalka, and I'm from Kipnik, Alaska. Indigenous Peoples Day is important to me because we want to continue our culture strongly through generations and generations.
Waka. My name is Marina Westall. I'm a third-year junior from St. Mary's, Alaska. My Yupik name is Julukak. Indigenous Peoples Day is important to me because it recognizes who we are and where we came from, and our job is to keep our cultural knowledge alive.
Hi, my name is Isaiah James. I am a 4-year senior from Granville, Alaska, which is located on St. Lawrence Island, and it's also on the Bering Sea Land Bridge. What Indigenous Peoples Day mean to me is that we acknowledge Native Americans and Alaska Natives.
My name is Kiersey Hammock, and I'm a 4-year senior from Good News Bay, which is on the southwest region of Alaska, near the Bering Sea. It's a small village with about 200 people near Platinum. I think Indigenous Peoples Day is important to us so we can represent our cultures and our people, and also to remind people who we are.
How does Indigenous Peoples Day make you feel?
Keep the conversation going.
Let us know. In a story that parallels Indigenous Peoples Day,
October 18th was Alaska Day.
Now let's get some perspective from our senior team leaders, Shane and Keenan.
Hey bro, lots to talk about history these days.
Yeah, some people say it's still alive, huh?
Yeah, Alaska really changed Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day.
And some people in Alaska want even more change in how we remember the past.
And some people want to change Alaska Day to Reconciliation Day.
What's the story there?
They say the trauma of colonization shouldn't be celebrated.
Hi! You're here with us at the Alaska Day Parade.
Other people say that the tone of Alaska Day has already changed.
Today we are here with many groups representing our community.
To be more inclusive of everyone, especially Alaskan Natives and their culture.
Interesting.
That's a debate that we probably won't be able to put to rest right now. Cameras read it.
So let's be thankful that we could have these conversations, learn from our elders, and come together to make Alaska a place we can all be proud of now and in the future.
We got this, bro.
Wow, thanks guys.
Lots to think about.
History really is alive, huh?
You got that right, sister. Now let's learn a little about AFN's annual Elders and Youth Conference.
On October 17th through the 20th, the First Alaskan Institute sponsored the 38th Annual Elders and Youth Conference. The purpose of the Elders and Youth Conference is to help connect people across the state and across generations. 7 MHS students under the direction of Mr. Tom Gamble participated in the virtual workshops and cultural activities.
During Elders and Youth, there are 2 keynote speakers, elders and youth. I, Oliver Tyrell, was the keynote speaker for the youth.
When I look into the mirror, my heart swells with pride as I see my ancestors gazing back at me. Through my eyes, they see. Through my breath, they live. In that very same mirror, I also see a young trans man, working to affirm my identity in a westernized world and in our communities. In my eyes is a reflection of the many pride and courage of trans people everywhere. We are resilient. Though too many are fighting through unspeakable pain, too many are fighting to survive, and many aren't surviving at all. These are not competing identities within me. They are one and the same, rowing in the same direction, deserving of my pride and my people's respect. We, the LGBTQ2S+ community, live within the Native community. We always have. The same pride I know each of you feel in your culture, your heritage, and your family, I feel every day in the deepest chambers of my heart. Side by side, in the same direction, the people go by canoe. It's an aspirational theme, more relevant now than ever. From our shared struggles to keep the richness of our cultures and languages alive against all the odds, to our collective fight against injustice, regardless of race, gender identity, sexual orientation, age, tribal nation, or community, we are in the same canoe. And it's our responsibility to ensure that despite our differences, we're always rowing with each other, for each other, side by side, in the same direction. It's more than a teaching and a saying. It's my prayer for this community of ours. It's my hope. It's what is possible if we do what is needed to learn about one another, respect each other, and commit to accept, include, and empower all people, especially when it's hard.
Oliver has been going for 7 years. FAI gave him the opportunity through resolutions to start his road to advocacy. His first resolution was shining light to the LGBTQ+ community. He was only in 5th grade. Since then, FAI has worked to make the Elders and Youth Conference a safe and inclusive space. FAI works with youth and elder reps from each region to plan the conference.
To find out more about the Elders and Youth Conference, please visit firstalaskans.org.
So many opportunities to stay connected to our cultures.
Whoa, time's flying. Yo, October, slow your roll.
Thanks for watching.
Monstober is almost over.
Halloween's coming. So remember.
Stay tuned to the cutting edge.